And 90% of the reaction was like, wow, hater, enjoy the moment. This is historic. We have to celebrate it. And it's like, I'm happy for LeBron. I'm happy for Bronny. It's a cool moment for them, but it's a total sham. It's like, I think we joked about it at the time. Maybe we did it. Maybe it was in a private text chain, but it's like, why doesn't he just, get his wife on the team? Then we could have the first husband, wife, and son in NBA history playing on the same team, because it's the same thing when Bronny hasn't earned his spot there. And so I blame the media, because if we had a real conversation about this from the beginning, we wouldn't be in this situation where we now have to pretend halfway through the season that this is still a real story, and Bronny wouldn't be a meme. If we just called it out around the draft and didn't make excuses for why he averaged whatever it was, 2.8 points per game or whatever at USC, maybe we wouldn't be in this situation. So I blame the media more than anything. LeBron's always going to do what he thinks is best for his son, even if it probably wasn't in hindsight. And I blame the media on this.
All right, so I agree with that. I think that one of the more kind of preposterous things that we've seen is this like spin from ESPN doing what you just said, lecturing everybody on all of that, to now acting the opposite. Like, they flipped on Bronny, they flipped on all of that, they flipped on the experiment. You have them, coming out and saying the things that we already knew were true from the beginning, and acting as if that's somehow like some kind of take that we should take seriously, after they're the ones that led the charge in the opposite direction. Like, you cannot, you do not, under any circumstances, choose to, drop something on us and tell us it's raining, for lack of a better word. Like, we all knew what was going down at the time. Nobody is surprised that this has gone this way. You talked about how LeBron wanted to do the best for his son. I remember us having this conversation, and we both agreed with that, and he said that's laudable. We also thought he was wrong, because we didn't think it was the best thing for his son, because of what we knew was going to come towards his son as a direct result of this. So ultimately, it was like, are you doing what's best for your son if you really stop and think about this, or are you just thinking about the moment where you two are wearing the same uniform on the same floor at the exact same time? You have that one moment in time. Problem is, it was choreographed. It was a photoshopped photo in like the parlance of a moment that actually should have happened. It's just not something that made any sense. It's not something we were ever going to take as a genuine article, and that's where it was. But we were told, you say lectured, that's really right. We were almost chastised, and we were it's like, look, no, you bow down. I'm going to beat you down until you understand that you're in the wrong if you don't accept this. Bronny could turn out to be good. Bronny this, and this. And it's just like, now some of these exact same people are saying the obvious. And they're even coming out and suggesting things about LeBron's camp and how they've been talked to and all this other kind of stuff. It's like, these are not the things that you were saying even 4 months ago. These are not the things you were saying 6 months ago. So don't now come to me as if you should be taken seriously, or you have some brand of integrity when it comes to this story, when it was very obvious that you were astroturfed originally, and now you're just saying the thing you were afraid to say originally.
I totally agree. It's always been a sham. And listen, one, again, for the 1,000th time, I don't put this on Bronny. Two, I am glad people are coming around to it, but it's like, again, and this is probably a bigger conversation about the media and mainstream media and how things are covered, but it's like, and by the way, I think, and maybe we do this conversation after the break, is that, Adam Silver is now making all sorts of crazy proposals, and I think it speaks to the fact that the NBA is kind of a mess right now, and I don't think the media that covers them, how do I say this? Not unbiasedly, but I don't think the media is asking the tough questions that they should be, and I think Bronny is a metaphor for that. Tell you what, Fox Sports Radio, Aaron Torres, Jason Martin will come back. Do want to go ahead and talk DeSager. All right, so are we doing this?
Let's couch it this way. There's breaking news in the NBA, and one guy has it.
It looks like a hack to me. J Mart, you're not on Twitter, so you're about to hear something crazy.
Oh,
I wasn't going to share it because it felt like a hack, but DeSager...
It did, absolutely.
But go ahead.
Okay, so Shams Charania works for ESPN now. It is his official site, and
his official Twitter account.
That's correct, and I will just read what he says. The Dallas Mavericks are trading Luka Doncic to the Lakers for Anthony Davis. Now, the Lakers just finished up a game. We know the trade deadline is coming up in the next week. We are awaiting somebody else to have this story, but that would be shocking.
Dude, there's no way.
Yes. Well,
that's what I'm going to say now, and you can go ahead and mark that and timestamp it or whatever if it turns out to be right. But there's no reason I should believe that's true.
All I'll say is I saw it about 3 minutes ago, and I immediately said to producer Ian, "Should I run with this?" And then we got it over to DeSager, and I think we handled it properly. We are reading a Shams tweet verbatim, and I would have to assume that it's hacked. If not, I don't think we're going to be talking very much, Pro Bowl games the rest of the show. So I actually did just text Mark Medina to see if he has any information. And we're just going to monitor this. But yes, as DeSager just told you, Shams Charania, who is the biggest newsbreaker in the NBA, from his official Twitter account, has put out news of a breaking trade involving Luka Doncic to the Lakers, Anthony Davis to the Mavs.
Man, people are picking this up. So this is how I kind of engage with Twitter now. I still have my account, but I just go to Google and I'll put in a story, and it'll bring me up, posts on X from various people and stuff. So I'll be able to kind of see sort of what's happening in the moment with some of this kind of stuff. A lot of people are running with this. I'm not saying people that we need to source. I'm just saying there are a lot of people that saw that, and that was enough for them to say, this is the biggest trade we've ever seen, and all this other kind of stuff.
Second tweet from Sean's account is detailing.
Yes, it is.
The first sentence is, yes, this is real. Sources tell ESPN. And the full trade is Lakers getting Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, Markieff Morris, on and on.
I will tell you this. I am on ESPN.com right now. There is nothing on ESPN.com. So we are monitoring a potentially...
this is crazy.
DeSager, I'm just glad you're here right now because you're a pro's pro, and
ESPN just broke it.
Okay, well...
They broke it on the website?
On the ESPN
or
Twitter,
on TV?
So unless that was also hacked...
I'm going to go to ESPN TV because I think they might break into coverage.
They would have to, yeah. Let's... we're going to continue to monitor this. Tell you what, we'll come back. As DeSager just told you, Shams Charania has tweeted that there is a breaking trade involving Luka Doncic to the Los Angeles Lakers with Anthony Davis going to the Dallas Mavericks. If this is true, we're in as much shock as anybody. We're hoping to get some sort of confirmation from someone, another reporter of some sort, but this would certainly qualify as breaking news. And as DeSager just said, ESPN's official Twitter account has now put something out. Give us a second. We're going to take a deep breath, and we're going to figure out all the details. We might have a lot to discuss here over the next couple hours. Aaron Torres, Jason Martin. This is Fox Sports Radio. Welcome back, everybody. Fox Sports Radio. Aaron Torres, Jason Martin, broadcasting live from the TireRack.com studios. J-Mart, I don't think it's hyperbole. First of all, I love working this shift because you never know what's going to pop up. The biggest, I would argue, breaking news thing that has ever happened during this time slot, I've been here since 2018, 2019, Antonio Brown did get traded to the Las Vegas Raiders, or maybe they were the Oakland Raiders at the time. I bring it up because we have quite literally, maybe not literally, I think we are talking maybe one of the biggest trades in NBA history just happened.
Absolutely.
Before the break, DeSager told you that there was a Shams Charania tweet, Shams Charania of ESPN. The Dallas Mavericks are trading Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, and Markieff Morris to the Los Angeles Lakers for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a 2029 first-round pick. We thought it was a hack. We thought it was fake. While we were in break, the report has since been confirmed by Chris Haynes. It has been confirmed by Mark Stein, who lives in Dallas and began his career covering the Mavericks. This is real. It is spectacular. To quote Seinfeld, I mean, listen, the world is stunned. I feel bad for people that are in bed at 12:30 Eastern time that are going to be waking up to this news. I don't think it's hyperbole to say this is quite possibly it's the biggest NBA trade of my lifetime. Where do we go, J Mart? Where do we go? Where do we go?
Dude, I don't know. Like it had to have been fake because it was such a ridiculously big trade, and there was not a soul that I had ever heard mention this.
Exactly.
Ever. Like, I just found an article about Luka and how the Spurs might be willing to wager everything to try and get Luka, but not the Lakers. That was never even. I mean, Luka leading Dallas was not even a thing, and so now it's here. I don't even know what we're supposed to say about it right now because essentially, Luka is your future. Luka, what he did in Dallas and what he was going to do. You know who Luka Doncic is. He can be box office on the floor and all of those kinds of things. LeBron's not going to play forever, but you have a moment now where you still have LeBron playing at a very high level at 40, and now you bring in this guy who sets the stage for your franchise a whole lot longer than Anthony Davis would at this point. But I think the thing that I'm baffled by most, just initially, so the Jazz are involved too. It's a 3-team trade to make this work, okay? But the Mavs get Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a first-round pick from the Lakers in 2029. How in the world is that worth Luka Doncic? And if you're the Dallas Mavericks, what are you doing? I think that's the biggest thing. Like, I understand why you'd want to acquire Luka Doncic, especially if you're the Lakers. But what is Dallas doing here? Or what are they signaling by doing this? Like, what don't we know?
Great question.
About Luka Doncic in Dallas that would lead to something like this even being feasible?
So that was kind of my exact question. And I'm not being sarcastic and I'm not trying to be funny. Is there something about Luka that we don't know about?
That's right.
And even if there is, wouldn't it create a red flag for the Lakers? So Luka, of course, last year, to your point, nothing about this makes sense. Luka Doncic just led the. Did I miss? Were they not in the finals last year?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they were.
They were in the finals last year, and he was the star. And yeah, Windhorst kind of criticized and said you need to lose some weight to get to the next level. And I know the Mavs aren't playing that well right now, 26-23, 9th place in the West. But to your point, I mean, I'm trying to figure out.
But he had missed some time too.
Yeah,
like there were some different things that happened. Man, you can't catch a break if you're Adam Silver because tomorrow was supposed to be Mavs Cavs. The Cavs are one of the hottest teams in the league, and now you don't have Luka. Because I just saw that Luka Doncic is now out for tomorrow's game against Cleveland. Like, yeah, I'm sure he is if he's just been traded.
For people just joining us, we have a trade in the NBA. It involves, and this is no sarcasm, Shams Charania, Chris Haynes, Mark Stein, every big reporter on the planet. Luka Doncic is going to the Los Angeles Lakers. Anthony Davis is headed to the Dallas Mavericks. Yeah, I mean, this is, I can't think of anything quite like this. I mean, Luka, again, so we're talking about a guy that is 25 years old. He'll be 26. He's trending to be like literally one of the all-time greats. And I don't, and I'll be curious and we'll get sound and we'll get Mark Medina. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what to say because, I'm speechless here. You wait as an owner, as a GM, as a whatever.
Wait, have you seen, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Have you seen?
What am I missing?
So I just happened to see this quote from I think it's Tim McMahon at ESPN. The GM for the Mavs told ESPN regarding motivation to trade Doncic for Anthony Davis. I believe defense wins championships. I believe getting an all defensive center and all NBA player with a defensive mindset gives us a better chance. So he's essentially saying, Luka's all about offense. That's great. We're not going to be able to, like, that's what he's saying. Like, what he's throwing out there is Luka is trash on defense and we can't win like that.
Well, I'll say this, is that
which he's not necessarily wrong about that first part.
Well, I'll say this, is that if you remember, and producer Ian, maybe you can find the sound, it was from ESPN, but during the finals, it was during the playoffs last year, I think it was during the finals, Brian Windhorst went on a crazy rant about Luka, if he's going to be one of those all-time greats, he has to take it more seriously, and basically called him a fat, out-of-shape loser. That's basically was the theme of the thing. And it was so vicious that it just felt like something that wouldn't come from just a reporter on the sidelines. It felt like somebody had told him that, probably, and was like, hey, while you're on ESPN, if you could get this message delivered for us, we would very much appreciate that. So I wonder if this has maybe been the sentiment within the organization, but I don't know what to say. Again, I'll reiterate it. For people just joining us, Luka Doncic has been traded for Anthony Davis. We're probably going to be reacting to this until 2 a.m. Eastern when Bernie Fratto follows us. Mark Medina will be joining us momentarily to discuss all of it. But again, Luka Doncic to the Los Angeles Lakers for Anthony Davis in what can only be considered one of the great blockbuster trades that we have ever seen. We thought Shams' Twitter had been hacked, but it is officially on ESPN, the ticker, ESPN.com, and every other NBA insider has shared it. Fox Sports Radio, Aaron Torres, Jason Martin. We're going to come back. We're going to discuss this from every single angle. DeSager, I'd ask you what's trending. The world being on fire is trending. John Calipari going to Rupp Arena has never felt less significant than it does right now.
The Athletic also joining the chorus of saying, no, it was not a hack. This is actually happening.
Yep.
Dallas Mavericks are trading Luka Doncic, Maxi Kleber, and Markieff Morris to the Lakers for Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and a first-rounder in 2029. It's a 3-team deal. It includes Utah. Immediately, it is properly being called one of the most stunning trades in the history of the NBA. The only other one in the NBA's history that immediately came to mind was when Kareem was traded by Milwaukee to the Lakers, but that was not during the season. That was in the summer of 1975, after Kareem had not only won a title, he had been Rookie of the Year and a 3-time MVP already, and then was traded by Milwaukee to the Lakers. Anthony Davis will turn 32 years old in March. He goes to Dallas. Luka Doncic turns 26 at the end of this month. He goes to the Lakers. Luka has played just 22 games so far this year. He averages 28 points a game for his NBA career. Anthony Davis has averaged 24 points and 11 rebounds in his NBA career. Everything final in the NBA tonight, including a